Hello guys, welcome to bio class. So we are in session 4. So in this session we're going to discussing about the protozoan diseases. Now what is the meaning of protozoan disease? Means the disease is caused by the protozoans. Those diseases we are calling as protozoan diseases. So in protozoan diseases we're going to discussing about the two major diseases. One is called malaria and one is it is an amoebiasis, right? So we discuss one by one. Yes, in last slide we have discussed that. So we are going to focusing on the protozoan disease. So first one, it is a malaria. So malaria, the causative organism is it is a plasmodium species, right? The malaria is caused by the plasmodium species. There are four species are there which are responsible for causing the malaria. So what are those species? We'll look at into here. So first one it is a Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium malaria, Plasmodium falciparum and Plasmodium ovale. These four species are responsible for causing the malaria. So out of these four species, so one is called it is a malignant malaria, that is we are calling as a falciparum. Okay. Now what is the meaning of malignant? So malignant means, so we are calling as it is a dangerous, because why is it called dangerous means it is going to be rapidly spreading to the other tissues and damaging the other tissues, and later it may leads to the severe damages. That conditions we are calling as a malignant. Okay, so falciparum is considered as it is one of the malignant malaria. Okay, now we'll focus on mode of transmission, how it is going to be transmitted. So it is transmitted because of the biting of the female mosquito, that is Anopheles. So this malaria disease is spreading from one person to other person because of the biting of the mosquitoes, especially female Anopheles mosquito. So here this mosquito we are going to consider as it is a vector. Okay. So next one, it is a symptoms. So the person who are suffering from malaria, they show some symptoms. So we'll look at into these symptoms. First one, loss of appetite and nausea. Okay. So loss of appetite means, so we don't feel hungriness. So appetite means hungry. So loss of appetite means we don't feel the hungriness, and nausea. Nausea means vomiting sensations. Okay, next point, headache. So next point, muscular pain and joint pain. Right, in the patients who are suffering from the malaria, they show the major symptoms is like muscular pain, joint pain, chill, high fevers. Okay, so chill means we feel cold and suddenly after the few hours of interval, suddenly the temperature goes on rising. So like this, so the person who is suffering from malaria, we can find that there will be the suddenly increase in the temperature and feeling the chillness. Okay, next point, it is a weakness and anemia. Okay, so here anemia means the person who was having the disease malaria, in that we can find the RBC numbers goes on reducing. Yes, or the hemoglobin content it goes on reducing. That is what we are calling as a anemia. And last one, enlargement of liver and spleen. Okay, if the liver cells are enlarged, or if the spleen cells are enlarged, they are unable to perform their regular activity. So here the liver and spleen activities get disturbed. Okay, so we are discussing about which disease. It is a malaria. The causative organism is Plasmodium species. So there are four species are there. So out of four species, which is a malignant? The falciparum is a malignant. Okay, then how is going to be transmitted? It is transmitted from one person to other person because of biting of mosquito. Which mosquito? Especially the female Anopheles mosquitoes. So, okay, so what are the symptoms? Like loss of appetite, nausea, headache, muscle pain, joint pain. So alternatively, there will be the high temperature and coldness. There will be the general weakness, and RBC count goes on reducing, and there is enlargement of liver and spleens. In this slide, we're going to discussing about the one of the important question for final exams. So that is a plasmodium life cycles. Okay. So this plasmodium, to complete its life cycle, it's required two hosts. One it's require man and one is it is in the mosquito. Okay. So plasmodium species to complete their life cycle, it's required two hosts. One is man and one is mosquito. In man, it will show the asexual type of reproduction. In mosquito, it will show the sexual type of reproductions. Okay, so we can observe diagram here. So by this diagram, we try to understand the plasmodium life cycles, right? So initially, the mosquito, when it is going to bite the human, so it will release its first saliva. In that saliva, it is carrying that infectious sporozoite. So nothing but plasmodium species. How it's going to enter to our body means, when the mosquito will bite, first it releases saliva. In that saliva, it carrying the plasmodium species, that is in the form of sporozoites. First it will enter in the human body. After entering in the human body, it will reaches first to the liver. Where it reaches, it will reach to the liver and it will infect the liver cells and it will get multiplied, and this sporozoite producing the merozoites. It will produce a number of merozoites. First mosquito will bite, so it will use saliva. In saliva, what it is carrying? It's carrying the plasmodium species, that is in the form of sporozoite. So where it reaches first, it reaches the liver and infecting the liver, where it will multiply and producing the merozoites, right? So these merozoites, after infecting to the liver, it will start moving in the bloodstream and it will reaches to the RBC. So now it's require food and nutrition. For that, it will start invading into the RBC cell, right? So when entering into the RBC cell, so this merozoite structure goes on changing, and in some way it looks like a ring structure, and that stage you are calling as a signet ring. Okay, so after release from the liver, where it reaches to the RBC for nutrition and food purpose. So it will start invading into the RBC. While entering into the RBC, its structure will be goes on changing, and that structure, it looks like a ring, and that structure we are calling as a signet ring. After that, it will break down the RBC, yes, or it will lysis the RBC cell. So while the breakdown of the RBC cell, the RBC cell releases some certain kind of chemical, and that chemicals we are calling as a hemozoin, and this chemical is responsible for increasing in the temperature in the human body. Yes, we already discussed in the symptoms that, so there may be the chill and alternatively high fever. So why this high fever occurs? Because of there is a lysis of the RBC, and RBC releases hemozoin, which is responsible for the increasing and decreasing in the temperatures. Okay, so after that, this merozoite, so again goes on repeating this kind of process. So out of this, few merozoites they are producing the, or they are developing into, yes, they are developing into gametocytes. Okay, yes, we can observe here. So it produces gametocytes, and these gametocytes, these gametes are, it is sucked by the mosquitoes. Okay, so when again what happens, when again the mosquito again bite to the human, so that time these gametocytes are get sucked into the mosquitoes. Okay, after entering into the mosquitoes. Okay, so this is all about first cycle, means this is all cycle happens in the man. After sucking inside the mosquito, the gametocytes will enter into the mosquito body. So it will shows again the second cycle, right? So after entering into the mosquito body, so it reaches to the gut, where the gametocytes are differentiated to microgamete and macrogamete. So this gamete will go fusion and it will form structure called zygote. After that zygote will form ookinete and they will show further development. Okay, after that it get breakdown and produces more number of sporozoites, and these sporozoites are get stored in the salivary gland. Okay, so again, so this cycle goes on repeating, right? So plasmodium, we are discussing about plasmodium life cycle. So one cycle will completed in the man and one more cycle is completed in the mosquitoes, right? So this is all about the cycle of plasmodium species. In this slide, we're going to focusing on the control and preventive measures of malarial diseases. Okay, so first point, so the waste like plastic bottle, pots, small ditches. Okay, so we know that we are throwing the waste bottles, pots in the outside. What happens in case of rainy season? There is accumulation of water inside the pots, bottles, or other things. Okay, so we have to, what to do means we have to remove all the water from that pots, small ditches, or ponds, because what happens, it is a become the yes for the place for the development of the larva. So if you want to control malaria means we have to control the population of mosquitoes. So if you avoiding the standing of the waters in these things, so we can control the mosquitoes. Okay. Second point, if the places are above or too large to or drain off or filled with, okay, suppose, so if the ponds or ditches are, they are larger in size, we are not able to remove all the waters or drain the waters. So that time what have to do, we have to sprinkle the kerosene oil on that ditches, on the ponds. We have to, yes, you have to spray the kerosene oil, or we have to add the, or we have to spray the DDT on that particular things. Okay, suppose if it is not smaller, it is big, we are not able to drain the all complete water, so that time we have to spray the kerosene oil, or we have to use the DDT on that particular things. Okay, next one, use the larvicidal fishes. If it is too large than we are expected, okay, that ponds and pools, we have to use the some fishes. Those fishes we are calling as a larvicidal fishes, means they're going to be eat the larva of mosquito, especially the gambusia fish. It is going to be introduced, which is it is acting as it is a larvicidal fish. It means it will eat all the larvae of mosquitoes. If there is a larvae, if it is a larva of the mosquitoes get destroyed, means we can control the mosquitoes populations. Okay, next point. So when I'm going for outside in the evenings for like parties and other things, what have to do? We have to be cover our hands and feet completely. Okay. Otherwise possible, we have to apply the creams like odomas. Okay. It is acting as an insect repellent, and we have to sleep under the mosquito net to avoid the bite of the mosquitoes. If we are suffering from the malaria, we have to take a proper and suitable medicines like chloroquine phosphate, primaquine, which are medicines are used for the treat the malarial diseases. Okay, so this is all about the control and preventive measures. In next section, we are going to discussing about the amoebiasis.